Hi everyone, it's me, Mythical Luna, and today I'm ranking every Marvel movie according to my favorites. These are just my opinions. I'd like to say that, just so you guys know, this is not an official list like, oh, these have to be here. This is just from my opinions and my favorites. And these are all the Marvel movies that have come out so far, except Far From Home, because that's not out yet at the time of this recording. So, I will start off from 22 and go all the way down to 1. So let's get started. So number 22 is Captain Marvel. If you saw my Captain Marvel review, you would know that I very dislike this movie. I'll start off with positives. I love Goose in this movie, the cat. Goose is just so cute, and I think I have a soft spot for cats because I used to own cats. But Goose is really cute. I really liked Goose. And I also really liked Nick Fury in this movie. So here are my, issues. This is why this is number 22. I have more issues in this, but I thought I'd just dial it down because I have so many movies to go through. One of my main issues was that Carol was not a character that I could get behind. Captain Marvel, she was very bland. She didn't have... I really couldn't tell what her character arc was. I didn't care for how Brie Larson portrayed her in the movies. I just felt like the only thing she was good for was blasting things, and that's it. That's the only thing why she was there, and her powers are just her blasting everything, and the final battle was very weak, and I was bored 95% of that movie. So, that was not good. Also, I think the way that Nick lost his eye was a total cop-out. Having Goose just turn on him like that for no apparent reason, because they were friends throughout the whole movie, and then at the end, Goose is like, oh, never mind, I'm just gonna scratch your eye out, because why not? It's ridiculous, and I thought it was stupid. I don't know. I think they could have done it a whole better way. I don't know. He lost, I don't know. How would you, there's definitely a way you could do it differently. I don't know if it's he lost it when he was fighting in the final battle against, not the Kree. Wait, no, yeah, the Kree. The Kree. Yeah, or something. Yeah, and then Carol's motivation, I felt, wasn't very clear. I have no clue if it was due to the men bringing her down in life. If it was her... one of her motivations was trying to figure out who she was, but, I don't know. It just didn't make sense, and it just didn't flow, and I think there's a lot of story issues, and I think Brie worked with what she had, but it wasn't very much. Yeah, that movie just was not good, and that's why it's 22 on my list. Okay. Number 21 is Captain America Civil War. I despise this movie with all my heart and soul and being. The Soviet Accords don't matter. There is no point in having those. It doesn't affect Spider-Man. It doesn't affect T'Challa. It doesn't affect anything they do in Endgame or Infinity War. There's no point to the Soviet Accords. They don't matter. There's no point in them. One of the reasons this movie was made was only to beat Batman vs. Superman in the box office, which Batman vs. Superman did not do well in the first place, but still, it was one of the reasons it was made was, in my opinion, to beat DC, which, whatever. Zemo was a horrible villain. I have no clue why he was in the movie. Why was he there? There was no point in Zemo even being in that movie because they turned Tony Stark into the villain, which I love Tony and I love Captain America and I understand both sides, but there was just no point. And I already made this point. There was no effect on future movies. There was no real end to Captain America's story. This is a Captain America movie, but mostly it's an Avengers movie disguised as a Captain America movie. Because all the Avengers are there. It's Captain America didn't get a real ending, which makes me mad because I think Captain America deserved one, and I feel like they could have done a completely different movie. I mean, they could have... yeah. Yeah, it was a Avengers movie disguised as a Captain America movie, and that made me really mad. It made me frustrated that Tony was turned into a villain, because I really do like Tony. And I see his reasoning behind things. I do love Black Panther, but we didn't need him to be introduced in Civil War. He could have had his own movie. We didn't need Spider-Man introduced in this movie. You would have to change the beginning of Homecoming, but you still could have, like, him knowing Tony or whatever. So there's definitely no point in having them introduced in Civil War. Yeah. Yeah, no, I just think there was no point to this movie. There's no point in it being made. It was just there, as a movie to beat out Batman vs. Superman, and it did. I'm glad that we have Spider-Man, because I love Tom Holland as Spider-Man, and I'm glad that we have Black Panther, because I love Chadwick as T'Challa, but I'm not happy at the way that they introduced it, and I'm not happy how they ended Cap's story, and I'm just not very happy with this movie whatsoever, and I could have a 2-hour conversation about this movie, but I'm not. So we're going to move on. That was 21. We're on 20 now, and this is Thor: The Dark World. I thought it was a very bland movie. Nothing really happens other than the Aether, which is the Reality Stone, was introduced. If you asked me about this movie, I could tell you nothing about it, because I don't remember anything. Yeah. All I remember is that it was bland, and that we got the Reality Stone, and that was it. So that's 20. 19. 19 was The Incredible Hulk. I also thought this movie was pretty bland. I also don't remember anything from this movie either. Which is an issue. No, I mean, I think I remember the end credit scene. Yeah, the end credit scene was like the one where like Tony showed up. Seriously, this movie was so boring and bland that I don't remember anything from it. So, that's The Incredible Hulk. 18 was Thor. I do love the Shakespearean element to it. I don't know why, I just kind of really like that, and I guess because I do a lot of theater, I like a little bit of Shakespearean from time to time. But in general, it was kind of a boring movie. I mean, it had great humor parts, and I definitely liked another. But I don't really remember much from this movie either. That's an issue with the Thor movies for me, except Ragnarok and The Incredible Hulk. Those movies, like, were just, my mind was like, yeah, you watched it, but you don't remember anything. That's 18. 17 is Iron Man 2. I think they had a lot of good ideas for this movie, but I feel like they had too many. They had, like, they had the Whiplash storyline, oh my god, I just saw this movie too. Why am I forgetting everything? Which was alright. I think he was a so-so villain. I don't think he was a great villain, but I think he was pretty decent. We had, like the whole, building more iron suits from, like, what's his name? That one villain who worked with Whiplash. I'm forgetting his name. We used building more iron suits, and they were like bad, and and the whole Stark Expo thing happened, and yeah, evil Iron Man suits. That happened. I mean, it's probably a movie I wouldn't watch again. But, for their, like, second Iron Man movie, I feel like they had too many ideas going on, and they had so many stories that they wanted to tell, that it kind of just, like, didn't connect or go together. That was 17. 16 is Thor Ragnarok. If you've seen my review that I did when this movie came out, you knew that I really, really hated this movie. I still kind of do. The reason is it's Guardians, but with Thor. Like, legitimately. The humor in this movie is just Guardians, but with Thor. This could have been like a Guardians movie, but, no. It's a Thor movie. I mean, Thor used to be a very serious character, and I kind of liked that because he was different from everybody else. And he did have humor in him. But, like, the issue is, like, I feel like everybody in the MCU is funny, and, you know, like, that's fine. Like, I like comedy, and I don't mind that kind of stuff. But when you turn every character into, a funny character, it's just like, oh, everybody's kind of the same, even though they have different ways of humor. Like, Tony is more sarcastic humor. Yeah. But I love Valkyrie. I'm so glad they introduced her. God, I love Valkyrie. She's amazing. She's so strong. I love her with all my heart and being. She was awesome in Endgame, flying on our freaking Pegasus. I was like, oof, yes. So I love Valkyrie. And I thought Hela was a very decent villain. I thought she was pretty good. Being like the lost sister and everything. That was interesting. I didn't mind that. But I can't get behind this movie because it's Guardians, but with Thor. Yeah, that was 16. 15 is Ant-Man and the Wasp, and I felt like this was a filler movie, which it is because we had Infinity War before Ant-Man and Wasp. I think that it doesn't help that it did come after Infinity War, that it was kind of just like, there, it's like, here you go, here's a funny movie to make you happy again. But then everybody deaths in the end, so. I thought the character of Ghost was alright. Her motives were okay. I liked her. I liked the idea of, like, the cool, like, quantum realm and just, like, and that she can phase through things. Like, I thought that was cool. But, I mean, I don't think she was, like, the best villain ever. I just think she was okay. And I kind of saw the end credit scene coming. Before I saw the movie, I was like, you know what? One of the end credit scenes is gonna be, like, Ant-Man surviving, and then, like, Hope and, like, Janet and Hank were all gonna dust. And guess what? I was right. No, that sounded so conceited. No, which I kind of saw coming because we just had Infinity War, and I was like, well, they're gonna dust some people at the end of this movie, and they did. Which was fine. The humor was alright. A lot of it didn't really land with me. Some of it was kind of repetitive, like the truth serum joke. It was okay. Yeah, it was just a very filler movie to me, and I didn't really care for it. That was 15. Now we're moving on to 14. And this is Age of Ultron. I'm glad they introduced Wanda and Pietro. I love them with all my heart. Pietro dying broke my heart. Because I really wanted more of him in the MCU, but I understand that he was also in the X-Men movies, so we couldn't really keep him in. I'm glad that we have Wanda. I think Wanda, she is powerful, like, really, really powerful, and I think she's a great addition to the Avengers. I was just really glad they introduced her. The Hulk and Natasha relationship was weird to me. I feel like it came out of nowhere, and I was like, what is this? And then it just kind of spiraled out of control, and I was like, and then when they never mention it, like, you can see, like, kind of little tiny parts of them kind of, like, being awkward after it, like Infinity War when, like, Bruce saw Nat after being in, like, space for that whole time. Yeah, I don't feel like it worked, but I don't know. They introduced Hawkeye as a family, which was nice because it gave him, like, some character development, and it gave him, like, a more, made him more human, which I didn't mind, and I love that Nat was an aunt. That just makes me so happy inside. Ultron was terrifying. I've never been more terrified of a robot in my life than in that very moment. I can never listen to that one song from Pinocchio ever again. Yes, this was definitely a terrifying villain. He's definitely up there with Thanos for me. Not with power, but just with, like, terrifyingness. But I feel like with this movie, there's too many cooks in the kitchen, that kind of, like, phrase. That kind of, like, situation where there was probably tension between, I think there was tension between Whedon and, just, like, everybody else. Whedon, who directed the movie, and then, like, the producers, and Kevin Feige, and all that stuff. But I feel like this movie is just kind of there. It's a decent movie. It's not my favorite. I'd definitely watch it if I didn't have anything else to watch, or if I just really wanted a movie where I could turn my brain off. I would totally watch this movie. But yeah, that was 14. 13 for me was Ant-Man. The first time I saw it, I thought it was a very decent movie. I still think it's a decent movie. I think, the idea of Ant-Man is an idea that shouldn't work, but it does. Marvel always makes everything work, I feel like. I like the humor in Ant-Man versus Ant-Man and the Wasp. A lot of the jokes landed for me. I love the joke Robbins knows all. That's one of my favorite jokes. In that movie. One of my notes on here is weird concept for a hero, controlling ants and stuff. I would never think of that, but we have a Spider-Man, so I mean, anything is possible. And I'm talking Raccoon and Tree. But yeah, I thought this was a decent movie, and that's why it's 13 on my list. 12 is Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 2. I definitely love this movie. It has a special place in my heart. I love the story they were going for about, like, family and, like, ego, and Star-Lord's relationship after Star-Lord trying to find his father for so long and finally finding that, and then just having everything crumble down around him. It was really sad because, like, he lost his mother, his dad is gone, like, in Infinity War, Gamora died. Like, he has no one except, you know, the Guardians, and, he lost, like, the love of his life. I feel so bad for Star-Lord. He's, like, lost so much. Anywho, but I love the story they were telling. I love the soundtrack. I always love the Guardians soundtrack. I love the first one. I love the second one. The music fits perfectly. I think James Gunn did amazing on that stuff. And I love the storyline with Yondu and him. I love that one scene where he's with Rocket and he's like, "You're just like me." I thought that was a very powerful moment. Yeah, and Yondu's death was definitely really sad. I wasn't expecting that to come, and I loved his last lines where he's like, "He may have been your dad, but he wasn't your father, or he wasn't your daddy." And it was just really powerful, and I love it. And I love this movie. I love the character development on just the Guardians and Yondu, and I don't know if Ego had any. I don't really remember. Maybe he did, because it's like, oh, he's such a great guy. No. Well, Star-Lord thought he was such a great guy. He was like, "Oh, yay, my dad!" And then it was like, oh no, he just killed everyone I love, and it's great. But no, yeah, totally. Excuse me. Pardon. I think there was good character development. And we got Mantis as a character. I know some people don't like Mantis, but I personally do. I think she's definitely like this innocent child, and she brings great humor because she's so innocent, and she's like, "Oh, you think I'm ugly?" Like, it's just, I love her. She's so great. But that was 12 for me. 11 is Avengers. I think this was a great crossover to bring all the movies that we saw beforehand, like Iron Man and Captain America and Thor and Incredible Hulk, just together. I just really like that. I love that one circle shot where all the Avengers are standing in a circle and the camera pans around all of them. Like, I love that shot. I think that's one of my favorite shots in the MCU. I know that's a lot for a lot of people. I just think it's so powerful. I I think Loki was a decent villain. I don't really have high expectations for villains. As you see, I say like a lot of them are decent. And I think for the first Avengers, Loki was a great villain because we saw him in Thor. So I think he was a pretty decent villain. I know a lot of people like Loki. I'm like, yeah, he's cool. He's not my favorite. But yeah, I think he was a good villain for the 2012 Avengers. I think he was great. It was definitely a breakthrough movie, I'd say, because if you think about it, this movie wasn't supposed to work. Like, if you really think about it, like, if this movie came any earlier, it wouldn't have worked. So I think this is a breakthrough for superhero movies in general, and I think it was great, and I'm really happy that we got Avengers and it worked, and this movie did so well. Oh yeah, okay, I definitely like the Steve and Tony rivalry English, Steve and Tony's rivalry throughout the movie. I like that they work together and they kind of like push past the differences, but not really, because it's Civil War. Civil War. I'm not gonna go there. Yeah, I did like that because it's like, okay, they're all different people and all from different walks of life. Like, and I get why Tony doesn't like Steve, because his father like worshipped Steve and he didn't really pay attention to Tony at all. So Tony had like a horrible like childhood. Whatever. I'm not going into backstory right now. I liked it. Oh yeah, one of my other favorite scenes in this movie was the Hulk smashing Loki back and forth. It was just so funny and I loved it. That's one of my favorite scenes throughout the movie, other than like the cool circling shot, because I love that so much. Anywho, that's like my geeky side. That was number 11. Number 10 for me is Iron Man 3. I think it gave Tony some great character development. This was a movie right after Avengers. I think seeing a character who deals with like panic attacks and PTSD and all this like anxiety and stuff, I think it kind of opens people's eyes to people who do have anxiety, or like, okay, superheroes can have anxiety too. I'm not alone, and I like that. But I think it gave him some character development. I think it definitely took the man out of the suit and made Tony his own person. Because if you think about it, everybody's like, oh, Tony is Iron Man, but with this movie, they're like, this is a Tony movie. This isn't an Iron Man movie. It's about Tony and his journey and him becoming his own, which I really liked. I love Harley, the little kid. I saw him in Endgame at the funeral. I saw him. I think he was a great character. I like how he helped Tony. And what was it? Where was he? I think was it Texas? It's one of those southern countries. No, it's not a country, huh? It's a state. Southern region. I don't really remember where. But, yeah, I liked it. I liked Harley. He's cool. The Mandalorian, twist, it was fine. It didn't really bother me. I don't know if it bothered other people, but for me, I was like, oh, that's a nice twist. I thought he was actually the villain, but guess what? He wasn't. And I was like, well, that's fine. But yeah, I thought it was fine. I didn't really have an issue with it. Oh yeah. Okay, so the whole like people being injected and like turning into like a rage ball of fire and can like become a human ticking like bomb. That was kind of weird to me. It was alright. I didn't hate it. It's not an issue for me. It just was kind of weird. But Pepper was freaking, Pepper is amazing in this movie. She is so strong. She is a queen. Pepper is always amazing. And I love Pepper Potts. So, yeah. that was great. Definitely like at the end, she was just so cool with that Iron Man gauntlet on. I was like, oh my god. Okay, anyway, yeah, I wrote it gave Tony time to figure out who he was without the suit, and I really appreciate that. That was number 10. Number 9 is Doctor Strange. This is a movie that got me into the MCU, still like back in 2016, which I'm so thankful for. And it's number 9 on my list. I definitely saw the similarities between, like, at the beginning between Stephen Strange and Tony Stark. Like, they're definitely, like, arrogant people at the beginning of both of their stories, so I definitely realized that in this movie, which was alright. I didn't have an issue with it, but I was definitely like, oh, he's kind of like Tony. I love the magic in this movie. Like, I love all the mystic arts. That's just so cool to me. I definitely like it. I love, like, the out-of-body experience where, like, they like ghosts. It's so cool. I love it. Yeah. I love the magic in this movie. I like the ancient one. Wasn't there, like, a twist at the end? Sorry. I've seen so many movies. Everything blends. It was really sad when she died. I'm not gonna lie. I think I teared up a little bit. I like the ancient one. I love the whole, like, spirit concept, which I was talking about, like, how, like, they had that out-of-body experience, and, like, he's fighting this one guy from, like, Caecilius's team, and they're, like, fighting in the hospital when, what's her name? Rachel McAdams' character, what's her name? Oh my gosh. I'll figure it out later, I'm sure. I just loved, that whole scene in the hospital where he's getting fixed up and, like, he's trying to fight off this other guy and he's trying not to die, which was cool. Oh, I love that one talk, close to the end of the movie about, the ancient one, and she's talking about life and how she lived a good life and all she wanted to see was the snow, and, like, she's talking about, like, what was that one line? I know this. It was just such a good speech, and I really liked it, and that's where I teared up. And then she died, and I was like, why? But it was just really, really good. I love the soundtrack, because it's so, like, mystical and cool, and I love the soundtrack. I bought the soundtrack right after I saw the movie. I was like, oh, I love this. I love the mirror dimension. That's just so cool. That, like, there's a whole different dimension to, like, this universe. That's really cool. I love the character arcs of all the characters. I like how Doctor Strange kind of, like, accepted that he can't go back to being a surgeon, but he can help people in different ways. What's this cool mystic arts? Which I really like, and the time stone and everything. It's cool. I love this movie, if you couldn't tell. It's just so cool and everything. And I really like the humor. I laughed a couple of times. Yeah, I liked it. That was number 9. Number 8 for me is Captain America: The First Avenger. I just love that it's set in the 40s. I don't know, like, something about the 40s is just very special to me. I mean, I know it's during World War II, and it's just women are helping out and men are off, and I don't know, just something about the 40s, like, feel to it, like, it's just, the movie feels vintage. I don't know if that makes sense. It just feels like, I love it. Yeah, I love Peggy Carter. Peggy Carter is amazing. I love the show Agent Carter. I love Peggy. Peggy is such a strong woman. Even though she doesn't have superpowers, she's just so strong, and I love Peggy. She is amazing. I love her. So strong. Cap's sacrifice, I thought was good. I love how, like, she's like, you still owe me a dance. It was really sad. I was like, oh, Peggy, no. I felt so bad for Peggy. I was like, girl. And I liked the ending of the movie where, like, he wakes up in 2011 and he's, like, breaks out of S.H.I.E.L.D., I believe. Yeah. He's like running through the streets. He's like, whoa, where am I? And then, wow, me describing movies. And then like, hey guys, so I was editing my video and a lot of the footage that I filmed, including my number 7 pick, was gone. I don't know what happened with my camera, but I want to fill in all the stuff that I said that I didn't get to in the video. So, we were talking about Captain America the First Avenger. That's where it cut off, which it originally cut off when I was talking about Iron Man, as you will see in the next clip. But like I was saying about Captain America, because I didn't get to finish that, I really liked the origin story. I thought it was a really good origin story. I thought it was great, that it was like this like kid. He was just really nice and kind, and he like got these superpowers, and he still continued to be like that great, amazing person. And I also love Steve and Bucky's relationship. I thought it was great, and I really liked it, and I love Steve and Bucky with all my heart, and I love their friendship. And then that was 8. Now we're moving on to 7, which was Guardians of the Galaxy. This one did not make it into the final cut, sadly, because I filmed it. I love this camera, but I do not appreciate that. But Guardians of the Galaxy was number 7 for me. I love, like, the humor in this movie. I laughed so hard. I love it. The humor is so great. I just love it so much. I love the soundtrack. I love 70s, 80s music, so having that incorporated into the movie, which I've never seen before, and I love it, and props to James Gunn, because he's amazing, for creating the soundtrack. I love that it's about a band of misfits. I think that's great, because you never think that a human, a green alien lady, like a talking raccoon, and tree, and like this assassin, well, both assassins, Gamora, would get together and like work together. I really liked that. It was fun. And I think it was a great story about family and just finding family. Oh, pardon. And like unlikeliest of places. My voice is going out. Pardon. So that's what I wanted to say. And then that was number 7. And number 6, as you will see in the next clip, I was talking about Iron Man when the camera cut off. So I had some things to say before that happened. So I love that it's the first movie in the MCU. It holds a special place in my heart because I got to see this movie with my dad in theaters. And then I don't know what happened. I just kind of fell out of the MCU phase, like thing. But I'm back. And it's just, I think it's great that it just started the MCU off right. I'm really happy that Robert Downey Jr. got to play Tony Stark because he's amazing, and I'm very thankful that he got a second chance in life and he's our Tony Stark. Yeah, and I can't help but fall in love with Robert's acting in this movie. I thought it was really good. Yeah. I'm just going over the points because I forgot. I think, oh yeah, and it set up the MC. Okay, so, now I'll let you guys go back to the video. Sorry about that, my battery decided to die on me, so, I'm back. We were talking about Iron Man. Yes, Iron Man was the first MCU movie. I talked about that. I mean, in this movie, I just can't help but love, Robert Downey Jr.'s just acting in this movie. I thought he was great. He's great in, like, every movie, to be honest. He was really great. It was kind of like the setup for the MCU, which I'm so thankful for. And I'm thankful that it worked. I'm thankful that we still have it to this day, and Jon Favreau, who directed the movie, is amazing. I thought he did such a great job. Props to him. It just, like, made me fall in love with this Iron Man character. And it just, you know, like, it was just so great. I love watching just his arc throughout the movie, from, like, this person who's, like, dealing weapons, and then he's like, well, what? No. Rewind. Who is creating weapons, not dealing. Jeez Louise. I need to get my facts straight. Who's dealing with that, and then, like, becoming this person who's like, you know what? No more weapons. I'm going to create something that can help people. Which I really liked. The CGI sometimes doesn't hold up. Most of the time it does. There's just, like, a couple of, like, explosions that don't hold up, and I'm like, oh, that's fake. But, yeah, for the most part, it's good. It's just a really special movie to me. I'd say, I know it's, like, 6 on the list, but, it's still special. It still holds, like, a special place in my heart. Yeah, and I love the directing. I love the shots. I love the one shot where he's, like, walking away from, like, the explosion. What other shot? I like the shot where he's, like, hammering the helmet. You hear that clanging metal. It's amazing. Yeah, I really liked it. Okay. That was 6. Number 5 was Captain America: The Winter Soldier. I love the spy feel to it. That's one of the main reasons that's so close to the end of the list. It's just like the spy feel. Like, I love that. I also like the Steve Nat like dynamic. I would never think of them as partners, and then when I saw it, I was like, oh, I really like that. I just like how they work together, which is great. I really like the dynamic with, like, Steve and Nat and them working together. Like, I always like seeing those two on screen. Oh, yeah. I love the, like, S.H.I.E.L.D. is Hydra now. Like, it just shows, like, how the government can be corrupted. And it's like, ooh, I really like that. That was cool. I really like that. I love the return of Bucky. I'm glad he came back. I was definitely surprised. I was like, oh, it's Bucky. And that big reveal, I was like, oh my god. Which is great. I love the reveal. We got our famous line, who the hell is Bucky? Love it. Yeah. And then, I should have said this sooner. I don't know why I didn't write this, in that. Sharon Carter. Why? Why does Sharon Carter have to exist? I don't like her. I'm sorry, but I don't. And that he kissed Sharon in freaking Civil War pissed me off to a T. I was like, what the heck? I was like, no. I was like, first of all, that's your, like, lover's niece. I was like, this is weird. I was like, I'm not buying this. This is a no-no. And then she never comes back. So it's great. And life's awesome. I don't like Sharon. Oh yeah, the last, like, final battle in the helicarrier between Steve and Bucky / Winter Soldier was amazing. I loved it. I thought it was so cool. Yeah. And he was like, I'm with you till the end of the line. And then he falls into the ocean lake thing below. And Bucky saves him and brings him to the shore. Like, I was like, oh, yes! Yes! I love it. You can tell when I love a movie, when I get so excited that, like, I'm recreating scenes. I'm explaining them. Yeah, that's why Winter Soldier is number 5 on my list. Number 4 is Black Panther. This is a perfect movie, and I love Black Panther with my soul, heart, and being. It's so good. I think it showed a different perspective in life, and a different culture, and a different race that I am not. I think it showed how being oppressed is awful, and how it affects people. Wakanda is gorgeous. I love how it looks. I love the outfits they wear. I love just the environment. It's, oh my god, it's amazing. It's gorgeous. I love it with my being. I love the culture. That's what I said. Yeah. Shuri. Shuri is another favorite of my girl superheroes. She is amazing. I love Cherie. She is my smart chick, and I will forever love her. And she is so strong. And she's amazing, and I love that how she creates suits and creates things. And I just love Cherie because she's so smart and amazing and beautiful, and I love her. Anywho, oh my gosh. The women, like, soldiers, what are they called? What are they called? Okoye and, the Dormala? No. No. Oh, what are they called? I'm sorry, I don't remember. But Okoye and her, like, women warriors, amazing, so strong. I love them. They're just, like, great role models, and I definitely look up to them because they're such strong women, and they're amazing, and I love them, and I just love the women in this movie. They're just all so strong, and they're all so amazing. And I love Black Panther, T'Challa, he's great. But I love the woman. Eric Killmonger, amazing villain. Okay, he is such a good character. I think it really shows, how, like, just all the bad things that happened to him, like his father being killed, and him never getting to go to Wakanda, and him never, like, really having anybody, and that, I guess, I don't want to be wrong, because this is just, like, oppressed, I think, and just all this stuff. He's just such a good villain. The soundtrack, amazing soundtrack. Applauds to the person who made the soundtrack. I'm totally sorry, I don't remember their name right now, and I feel so bad. Oh, love it. That was number 4, Black Panther, amazing movie. Everyone should see it. Number 3, Spider-Man Homecoming. I love this movie with my heart and soul and being. Tom Holland, I feel like is just an amazing Peter Parker, in my opinion. He is amazing. He's perfect. I think he plays a great Spider-Man. I think he lands the humor perfectly. I think he plays a great Peter Parker who's kind of, like, awkward. Yeah, Tom Holland is just so good, and I'm so happy. I'm happy that we have Tom Holland as our Peter because he's amazing, and I'm so thankful. The Vulture I thought was a decent villain. He's just like that normal OG, like, Spider-Man villain. I didn't have a problem with him. I was like, cool, he's from the comics. I've never seen the Vulture in movies. And then they were like, ooh, that's actually pretty good. You didn't make him look weird, like an old man, and like a weird, like, jumpsuit and feathers. I was like, good job. Yeah, I liked it. I love the character arc that Peter goes throughout the movie. I love, like, if you're nothing without a suit, then, like, you shouldn't have it. I think that's a powerful line because it's kind of like going back to Iron Man 3 and, like, Tony trying to figure out his own self without the suit, and then, like, he's kind of trying to get Peter to figure himself out without the suit, which I liked. I love, oh yeah, where is it? Okay, yeah, I love the Tony and Peter dynamic. I just feel like it's different from, like, all the other, like, dynamics that we've seen in Spider-Man movies. I think he's a great mentor. I mean, yeah. Yeah, I really like him. And it makes me sad because he's like a father figure to Peter. He's kind of like the MCU's Uncle Ben. If you think about it, he's like that father figure who dies, and it's just really sad. Yeah. Yeah, I love Tony. I love Aunt May in this movie as well. Marissa Tomei, amazing. May, I love her. It has that really, like, John Hughes feel, very 80s teen movies, like The Breakfast Club, which I love, and I know they were going for that. The director, John Watts, which is amazing. Props to him again. I always say that. Don't know why. Yeah. I love the 80s, so I might be, like, a little biased. But I love it. Great supporting cast. I love Jacob as, Ned. Ned's a great friend. He's fun. I love, MJ of the MCU, Michelle, played by Zendaya. I think Zendaya did a really good job, and she made her like her own, and I like that. Flash was good. Flash wasn't like, I like how he wasn't like really a jock, cause you know Flash is a jock, but I like how he didn't do that. Like they changed every like couple little things, and I was like, oh yes, I love it. It wasn't okay. I have to say the soundtrack was okay. I didn't like it was decent. For what it was, I didn't really notice it that much in the background, but it was okay. Oh yes, and I have to I just need to say this. My favorite scene out of that movie is the one scene where he's stuck underneath all the rubble, and he's like, "Come on, Spider-Man," and he's just pumping himself up, and he's going, and he's like, he pushes the rubble off of him, like it's just such a strong moment, and it makes me so happy. And he's like, oh my god, all the emotions. I love it. That's number 3. I'm gonna move on to number 2, which is Infinity War. This is the first movie to ever make me cry. I haven't ever cried in a movie before Infinity War, and this is the first movie to ever make me cry. Props to you, Marvel. I love all the chemistry between the characters on screen. I love Doctor Strange and Tony's like clashing banter. I love how Tony deals with the Guardians. I love how the Guardians deal with like everybody else. Yeah, I love the Wakandians dealing with Cap's team. Like I like it. The humor was great. I always laughed at all the stuff. I love those movie references by Peter. I definitely got him. I was like, aha, I know that movie. I understand that reference. I really like it. It was a decent soundtrack. I really liked it. I didn't really notice the soundtrack. I noticed it at some parts, like definitely part where Gamora's thrown off a freaking cliff. Yeah. I don't know, why do I have to talk about that one? Okay, all the death scenes, I was shocked at first. Like, when everybody deathsed, I was shocked. I didn't cry. I didn't do anything. I just sat there. And then I went with my dad. And my dad was like, "Are you okay?" And I bawled. Like, I was like, "No." And I started crying and bawling. Like, that. And I think Peter did it for me. Thanks, Peter Parker. Making me cry. Yeah, that was just really heartbreaking for me. I was devastated. Not gonna lie. I was like, oh, I can't live anymore. Oh, I love the twist where the villain wins. Like that, I love that. I actually haven't ever seen that in a movie, and I love that the villain won. I know that's a really bad thing to say, and I hate that he won, but I like from like a filmmaking storytelling perspective that like he won. But I hate that he won. You see what I mean? From like a fan perspective, I'm like, I hate you, Thanos. You can go die and live in a freaking hole. I have so much anger. Oh yeah, the movie keeps making you want to know what happens next. Keeps, like, the action is just like, bam, 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 and I'm snapping my fingers. Yeah. Yep. Gamora's death shocked me and rattled my core. I was like, not Gamora, because I love Gamora, and I was so devastated. I was like, not Gamora. I was so sad. I was like, how dare you kill off Gamora? I was like, my heart is broken. I'm gonna move on to number 1. That was number 2. Number 1, Endgame. The beginning of the movie definitely set the tone. It gave this darker tone. It gave, like, you saw Thor chop off freaking Thanos' head. He was just like, and I was like, oh, God. I was getting misty-eyed a lot during the movie. It was just so much emotions, and I was like having so much anxiety, and I was like, oh my god, so much emotions. From a story's perspective, I really like that they did it like Thanos just dies, and then they're like 5 years later, and you kind of see how the world looks, and it's all like run down, and it's all bleak and like creepy, post-apocalyptic. That's definitely what it's like. And I like that. I was like, ooh, that's different. I love Morgan, Tony Stark's daughter. She's so cute. She's so sweet. I would love to give her a hug. And I love E3000. That just makes my heart so happy and warm. And I love Morgan. The time travel in this movie is kind of iffy. But that's fine. Look past that. It doesn't matter. It's time travel. Nothing needs to make sense. But yeah, I'm definitely like, I'm gonna announce that because it was like, how does that not affect this? And then it's like, how does that not affect this? And then why did you have to put the stones back? If it doesn't affect anything. And I was like, okay, well, whatever. It's time. Oh my god. Nat's death, I definitely cried. I was like, because I was like, no. When they both ended up on Vormir, I was like, no. I was like, if Clint died, I feel like I wouldn't have cried as much, because I'm not like a big Hawkeye fan. But like, he has a family, so why would he die? So I kind of saw Nat, and I was like, no, not Nat. And then I cried. I was like, why? Why does the world hate me? Yeah, Nat's death was just, I feel like she deserved a better death, a little bit, but like I read, don't quote me, that like one of the crew members, one of the girls on set, she was like, don't take this away from Nat. So Nat died. That was sad. I love seeing how they all like reached their goal to get like a certain stone, like how Bruce had to go and talk to the Ancient One to get the time stone. Reality stone, like Thor was having a panic attack, while Rocket is like, well, gotta get the stone one way or the other, and he like goes and gets it. I love how Tony and Steve, they have to go back to the 70s, and oh my god, I saw Jarvis, and I freaked. I was like, oh my god, it's Jarvis. I was like, ah! From Agent Carter, I freaked. I was like, oh my god. And how he had like talked to his daddy and kind of like made up with his dad a little bit, and I was like, this movie just made me want to cry every freaking second. Which is great. Nat and Clint, that broke my heart, as you guys know. What stone am I forgetting? Okay, there's time, reality, space, power. The Power Stone, that scene was so funny. Where War Machine and Nebula, and like you see Star-Lord without the music, so he's just dancing and singing, and like War Machine just punches him and he just goes straight down. It's so funny. I love it. Power, mind. We already, how did they get mind again? No, like wait, no, they got the scepter. That's how they got it. Steve got that. Mind, soul. I did soul. Guys, I gotta figure this out. Hold up. Time. Wait. Let me write this down. There's time, power, space, reality, mind. Time, power, space, reality, mind. Soul. Wait, how many of those? 2, 4, 6. Yeah, I mentioned them all. Yeah, yep. All good. Wow, that took a while. Oh my god, the final battle, everybody, like, comes in from the portals, and I, like, freaked. I was like, oh my god. I was like, oh my gosh. It was so amazing. I loved it. I was freaking out. I love Tony and Peter's reunion, where you, like, give him a hug. And I was like, oh my god, it finally happened. I was like, that brings it back to Spider-Man Homecoming. And I was like, yes! And I was like, I got teary-eyed. I was like, oh my god, yes, 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 yes. And I saw behind the scenes photo and video with that, and it was just so good. And I was like, oh my god, I love this. The girls coming together scene, during the battle, I know a lot of people were like, about it. I'm kind of like, it's fine. Girl power and whatever. Which I respect. And I think it was good, but, I mean, Captain Marvel didn't really need any help. Because Captain Marvel is so powerful, and all she has to do is blast someone, and then, you know what I mean? Yeah, okay. I miss Gamora. Yeah, I just wrote that. I miss Gamora. I'm really sad. I mean, I know we had, like, past Gamora, but still, it's just really sad, and I really miss her. I want to bring Gamora back. Ugh, I love her, and I want her back. Oh boy. Okay. Tony's death. This devastated me, and it caused me heartbreak. I wasn't really able to talk about this movie for a good couple of days. My friends asked me about it, and I was like, if I tell you what happens in this movie, I will start crying again. Like I said, Iron Man, the first Iron Man just holds a really special place in my heart, and just following Tony's journey throughout, the movies and everything, yeah, I was very, very much wrecked and very much devastated, and I am not afraid to say I cried really, really hard for the rest of the movie. Yeah, the funeral was very sweet. I loved seeing everybody there. I loved seeing Harley there. That was just so cool. Yeah. Yeah, that was good. I cried through that too. I love the one scene at the end where Happy's asking Morgan what she wants to eat, and she's like, cheeseburgers, and that brings it back to Iron Man. First one, which just made my heart really happy. A little detail, I think Steve did get his happy ending. I know it was with Peggy, and I know a lot of people have some issues with that because it's like, well, what about Bucky? And I'm definitely with that kind of group. I'm like, what about Bucky, though? Because we see some stuff there. Yeah, but it was sweet. I think he got his happy ending, and I think he deserved it. Yeah. The new Cap! Falcon is our new Captain America. I'm kind of shocked it wasn't Bucky, but I get why it's Falcon. I'm happy. I'm excited to see what Anthony Mackie does. I'm sure he'll be hilarious. And whatnot. This has an amazing soundtrack. I loved it. I listened to it. It's just so beautiful, and it's amazing, and I love it. I just want to say, this movie, yeah, I definitely cried so much that I got myself sick. I was just so exhausted afterwards. I got a headache. Even after drinking so much fluids, I was down. For the rest of the day, because I saw this movie like 8 o'clock in the morning. So the rest of my day, I was like, kind of laying on the couch, devastated, like in tears. Yeah, I was wrecked. This movie definitely messed with my emotions so much that I can't go back and see it until it comes out, because I like watch like fan edits and stuff, and I'm still like kind of on the verge of tears. Like, this movie wrecked me, and I think I have some issues. That's a good thing that I talked this out on YouTube. Yeah, but anywho, that was my ranking, you guys, of all the MCU movies, according to my favorites. I'm going to go down the list one more time, just so you guys know, and yeah. So, number 22 was Captain Marvel, 21 was Captain America Civil War, 20 was Thor the Dark World, 19 was Incredible Hulk, 18 was Thor, 17 was Iron Man 2, 16 was Thor Ragnarok, 15 was Ant-Man and the Wasp, 14 was Avengers Age of Ultron, 13 was Ant-Man, 12 was Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 2, 11 was Avengers, 10 was Iron Man 3, 9 was Doctor Strange, 8 was Captain America the First Avenger, 7 was Guardians of the Galaxy, 6 was Iron Man, 5 was Captain America the Winter Soldier, 4 was Black Panther, 3 was Spider-Man Homecoming, 2 was Infinity War, and 1 was Endgame. So yeah, guys, thanks for watching this video. If you want to do your own list, I'm definitely willing to hear your opinions. This is not a set in stone list, and I'd love to hear what you guys think. I'm very open to opinions, and I'm very open to just listening to you all, because everybody has their own right to their own opinion, and definitely would love to hear what you guys have to say. So, thank you for watching this video. I highly appreciate it. You can follow me on Instagram and on fanfiction at MysticLuna, same with it's spelled here. And thank you. for just watching this with you. So I will see you guys next video, and bye!